you don't hear? I'm starting to wave now. I don't know why. So, do another little recording. Already did a long one today, 2 hours, or this morning. Now it's early this morning. Now it's 10 in the morning, and I was actually getting ready to go to bed, but finally, after 2 nights and 2 full days, I lost track of how many hours. You see the look on my face there? That's how I feel about the whole thing. This Kdenlive edit here finally finished. Now, I haven't played the video yet. I thought, I'll just go ahead and do a little video and show the results and play the video, a little bit of it. The rendering says finished in 7 hours, 40 minutes, 26 seconds. Well, that's wrong. So this counter is just as wrong as it can be. I've seen it go 2 hours estimated time left, 10 hours, 9 hours, 22 hours, 2 hours again, 3 hours. It just goes all over the place. And then I thought when it was finished last time that it had maybe an accurate count, but it's not. So I just went ahead and put TeamViewer Portable on this machine and started it up. This is the blue FIC I'm always talking about. It's Pentium 4 with 2 gig of RAM. This was my first machine I ever built, and I'm still proud of it. And it was the fastest machine that you could buy for under $1,500. I spent $650 on it, which was a really good price at the time, and really it would have cost me, I guess, maybe it was the fastest machine around. Well, if you went to like, Best Buy or whatever, Gateway back in the day, this was back when Gateway was still a big deal, and if you went to a box store, you would have spent $1,000 for this system of this type, or more, and just the box and just the computer, not the keyboard and the monitor and all that. So and actually, I bought it at TigerDirect.com and had all those rebates. Paid $650 for it, and then I never did my rebates. I would have been paying about $450 for it, I think it was, but I didn't. I never got around to doing them. So that's when I always try to avoid rebates after that. But anyway, this is if you've never seen the finished rendering job in Kdenlive video editor, that's what it would look like. This is the tab what I chose. MP4, HD64 high profile, encoder threads 1, export audio automatic, video quality 20. Thought I chose 25. And audio bitrate. You know what? I chose what I just said, 25, and I think I left the audio at 160. You can go 192, I think. I think it went back to the defaults. I mean like just what it's displaying, not what it's did. I'm pretty sure, unless it happened and I didn't realize it. Well, there's two scripts showing up in there. See if we can see what they are. Lately I've been saving a script. Oh, one's a script and one's no. Okay, there's one and 02. Oh, one of them doesn't say audio fix, so that's why there's 2. Okay. Only thing is, if you get a little curious and click on that script and it starts running, you will, if there's a file in that directory it's pointing to, it will start overwriting it instantly. And it deletes it and starts making a new one is what it does. And so I kind of quit making them, but I went ahead and made them because of these slower machines. I thought, well, if my render fails like it did, that first one that didn't have audio fix failed, I said, well, I may just run a script next time. It won't use, I think you can just run the script in the. It's been so long since I ran one. I was thinking, well, I think I can run it in the terminal window, and that's all it'll be using, and no GUI. Of course, you still got the your desktop GUI and all that, which is what I did this time. I showed before in another video that I have this machine set up to where I can run Kdenlive all on its own without any other desktop behind it, and it works fine. The whole program functions fine. I can even go to the file and open and mount my plug in my 4 terabyte USB drive and it'll mount it. Just the back end of the operating system will mount it. But or the file manager built into Kdenlive, I'm really not quite sure how. I think it just uses the standard file manager in Fedora is what it does. I don't think there's a file manager built into Kdenlive, but I'm trying to see what the name of it was. Doesn't show it there, but anyway, always forget there's several different ones. They all look like Windows Explorer. I don't use any of them. I use Crusader, the twin panel file manager. So anyway, it did finish. It didn't say errors and all that like it did in the Net Pro Max. So I'm going to close that. Go ahead and close the program out because I'm not going to need it anymore. And what did I do? Oh, I accidentally logged out of my Team Viewer screen. I hit the wrong X. Okay, so oh, that's because I logged out before. That's from Team Viewer, and that's the welcoming or the little tabs and stuff. Okay, so what I was trying to do was close Kdenlive. And it always says, do you want to save it? Well, I've tried saying no because I thought maybe it was a change that I didn't want, but it turns out I don't know why it's like that. I mean, I always make sure I save my last changes before. Maybe it's the scripts or your rendering choices. I guess it's your rendering choices is what it's saving. But anyway, say yes is the thing to do there. And so now the only thing that's actually running on the machine is a terminal window that I used to open up Team Viewer Portable, and I don't even have Crusader. I don't have anything else running over there. And I think there's no need in running it. Let's see. I can go over there. Well, I don't know that it's really such a good idea to I could just go up here and say shut down. But I don't know what that would do to the state of my Team Viewer Portable. It might not hurt it. I think I've done it before. But what I can do is just go over there and shut down the machine and then close down Team Viewer because I have the cables hooked up. If I didn't, I'd just do that. But of course I wouldn't be using Team Viewer Portable. I'd have to be using it installed or something installed in another VNC app so that it would be running when I boot the machine like I do with that Windows 7 machine. But anyway, I've already taken the USB hard drive. What I did, I actually saved them to the hard drive here, the hard drive on the BlueFIC, because I thought, well, maybe that could even be why I had those errors. And I knew it would, it's reading the data from the USB drive. That's where all the original files were. And so I thought, well, writing the data to this hard drive, since I do have enough space, would probably be the best thing to do. Although my USB hard drive really writes fast, but I thought, why risk it? Try to do it. I didn't think it was really probably necessary to copy everything over to the hard drive, so I just did it that way, and it worked so far. But like I said, I haven't played it yet, so let's play it. So it's over here on my USB drive. I don't have room to be putting that stuff over here on my Lenovo i5. These are the videos I've done recently. They need to be backed up over here. And that's the one I'm making right now. It's like, what's that? Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm making right now. Well, it's streaming to YouTube as well. And matter of fact, let's make sure it looks like it's streaming. I had the web browser open a minute ago, and then shut it because I forgot. Then I might want to check on my stream. I would have liked to have checked on it the instant I got it going, but I am saving it to the hard drive, so if the stream didn't work, I'd still have a backup. But let's go here and look right quick. Okay, healthy stream, 10 minutes. And, you know, really, when you're doing a live stream, you really ought to have this open so that if somebody starts talking to you, you can answer them. That's the whole purpose of doing live streams, is to be able to be live and communicate with your viewers, you know. So that's what I just got through doing. That's what we saw there. So I'll just pause that. There's no need. And I'm glad they didn't. I don't think they used to have that. They had the audio on by default, I think, and now it's off by default, and that's good because it really is confusing. It starts echoing and freaking me out, and it makes me like lose what I was saying, you know. So that's the that one there, 2.3 gigabyte, is the one I did earlier, and I went through it on here and on YouTube Live, and it all came out good. All the audio and video was in sync and everything, except for, of course, my camera. I'm running 10 frames per second and on the stream and 10 frames per second on the camera, because my phone camera, is streaming from my phone camera is streaming live on my local network wirelessly from the camera's chip, Wi-Fi chip, and it just can't do it. It was the app, IP webcam, IP webcam. It faulted for 30 frames per second, but it couldn't do it, and I knew I wasn't only doing, in order to get your desktop video to stay in sync, 10 frames per second, or even on GTK to record my desktop, I do 5, and it works perfectly. And so 10 frames per second, and then having 30 frames trying to, put those two together, I don't think that would ever work. It didn't. I mean, I left it like that because I didn't even think about it the first time. And so what it was doing is he was getting that blurry motion, I mean, you get a little bit still, but now what you're doing is it just doesn't have that many frames, so it kind of does look jerky. I guess I'm moving my hand back and forth. I don't know if it looks jerky, and you almost see a blur. I mean, if I move really fast, you'll see a blur. But the main thing I want this for is, like, if I want to hold something up and show it to the camera and hold it still for a minute, it's going to do good enough. It's going to do way better than my laptop cam did. It's, this is a lot higher resolution. So I put it on the high resolution, turned off the audio so it wouldn't be streaming, using up bandwidth streaming audio. And so that's working pretty good. And I'm off on the other thing from what I'm actually here to do. So you get to see my video feedback every time I do that, but we'll work on things one at a time. You actually can set up keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to go to bed since I finished this, because I'm tired and I'm not really with it that much. But I'm not so sure. I got to think. I don't know if I can keep track of it that way. When I'm looking at it, and clicking on it, then I know for sure what I'm doing. I always have to go back over here and say, okay, yeah, I'm on desktop. I can see real quick when I see that video feedback. So we'll see what I end up doing. But here's the video. Oh yeah, the Bluetooth. What? Oh yeah, it's when I edited a bunch of phone videos. The Bluetooth mic wouldn't work. Right. Okay. Couldn't remember what it was. Hey, Don here. Well, I've got a new device. I would say toy, but it's it. So it's actually for a particular purpose. It's I can get it kind of close there. Its controls are on the side. It's a wireless Bluetooth headset, and it has a built-in mic. And you're supposed to, you can answer calls and stuff with it. I'll show you the little box it came in. That's the box. And then I take them out. Oh, there we go. Those are pictures I took. Headset or not.
Here's what I'll do. Oh, the camera's in a different place. It's right there. Okay, now I understand. I don't use...
So, you know, I like the looks of it, and it's that a minute ago, but once I did it, I realized, oh, I'm not having any audio in the headset because of that, I think. But the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are not the same chip. You know, they're two different chips. Now, it's kind of a delay. The video itself is a little delayed, like I was saying. I don't hear anything. So, looks like I got a good video, and the audio was really good. I gained the audio. I gained it as much as you could gain it in Kdenlive, and then I used hard limiter. Let's see, is that all? I know I used a hard limiter to make sure it didn't, go past 0 dB and distort. Because the phone cameras, like especially when in that particular video, you know, I was holding it. I didn't want to normalize it. There's a normalizing plug-in for the audio. They've got a lot of good plugins. I got most of the ones that are in Audacity. If you've ever used Audacity, the audio editing plugin, audio editing app, but yeah, I didn't want to normalize it because the whole point of that video was to the whole point of that video with that headset was to show what was working and what wasn't. And so you know, I would hold the sometimes I would have them, I would pull it up close to me to show. See, I was trying to get the mic built into that headset to work to record videos. And so if I held the headset, sometimes it was a headset I was moving around, sometimes it was a camera, the phone. And so if I can't even think to explain it, but anyway, I was moving the phone far away and close, far away and close, and the headset sometimes, and you know, to demonstrate how the sound would change. And that's also how I could tell if it was working, you know, because I fooled myself the first several times I tried to do tests. I was just holding the phone up close, and yeah, it sounded perfect. So I thought I did it with my little Bluetooth. This one here, it's far out. Get it? This one. That's a little Plaintronics 220. It's an older Bluetooth headset or earpiece or whatever you can call it. It's not a headset; it's an earpiece. It was given to me by a friend, and it won't charge. The battery's completely dead and it won't charge, but if you plug it into a USB charging cable, OTG cable, it'll work perfectly. And I've made like Google voice calls with it and stuff, and it works. But when you try to record an open camera, the one I use, it has settings in it that should make that work. It says external mic and all this stuff, but it doesn't. And so I don't know. And so then I thought, well, maybe that new headset would work, and it didn't work either. So now I'm thinking, well, I sent it back because it wasn't even the one they advertised. They advertised they were going to send me the one that I was buying was one that had it was a Bluetooth and analog cable, and that I would get a 3.5 millimeter TRRS cable with mic input and stereo audio output. Well, it just had a USB charging cable is all it had. And so I did a whole bunch of tests. I actually did get sound back to the headset through the USB cable, but from my computer, but it wouldn't pick up the mic, and never got the mic did work. At least I thought it was working, and then I started thinking I better hold that phone out further. I put it like 3 feet away, and so I decided the mic did. The mic wouldn't work in open camera for sure, and or any other camera or audio recording app. But it did seem like it was working, unless I fooled myself. But I don't think I did. In Google, Google search is where I saw it working. But then I tried it on Google Voice calls, and I called my local time and temperature because I didn't have anybody to call at the time, and that I wanted to disturb, messing around with stuff like that, and the audio was cutting out real bad. And then whenever I would do it without that headset on the same phone, the audio was perfect. So it was the Bluetooth cutting out. So the thing was, It was pretty in red, and that was it. It didn't work right. It wasn't even the one they advertised to send me. So I was pretty aggravated. So I wanted to figure it out for one thing, but the other thing, I wanted to make videos to show people, what this outfit was selling, what they were sending you when they offer something else. So that's what that's all about. But I did want to, on my phones, I get, if I have the phone out here, or if it's on the tripod over there where that one is right now, then like we're that far away, about 3 feet or so, you don't hear me very well at all. Any further than that, you wouldn't hear me. You just wouldn't be hardly usable. So that's the whole reason I wanted, a wireless mic is what I'd like to have. A wired would be okay, but then you're tethered to a mic and you're going to you move and you'll yank the darn phone off the tripod and everything else. So if I can get a wireless that'll work, that's not super expensive. That headset was $23, and there was another one that, well, if it was as advertised, was $20 that I might have wished I'd got. Only thing is, wearing that, I wore that thing all afternoon testing it, and it was hurting my ears. Even it started out being more comfortable than any of the others I've had. And the other set that I was looking at that I decided not to get because it only had 2 reviews, and one guy was one of those people that gets them for free for doing reviews, and he made a video and he showed everything working, but he showed a 3.5 millimeter cable, but he didn't mention that it didn't come with it. And the only other reviewer said, well, it doesn't come with the cable. And I thought, well, I don't want to have to buy a cable. And the other one showed it came with the cable, and so I thought, okay, So anyway, that turned out to be not working, so I sent it, no good, so I sent it back, and so I don't know if I'll buy another one or what. I had $20 to spend, but I don't have to spend it, So, but I thought, I also found a wireless wired cable that's TRRS. It has actually 2 cables in one, built, connected to one connector, and one's for your headset and one's for your mic, and you can plug into let's see, I don't think it was it XLR. Yeah, I think it was. It could plug it into an XLR mic, and that's what I have here. It's your SM58 XLR output, and what I do here with my V-amp is I convert it with a low impedance to high impedance adapter, XLR to 1/4 inch, goes into my V-amp. That's really a guitar preamp or guitar effects processor, but it also has some mic preamp stuff in it too, and so that's what I'm using, and it works really well. I've heard, there's the effects part, the reverb part of it. I used to mix sound, and so Lexicon was a brand that I really liked their effects, and so it's not Lexicon sounds, but it's decent ones. They're all right. Better than Alesis, I would say, which was a cheap brand back then that I used a lot because, that's what I had to work with. But, so, let me go back to my desktop, and let's see. Okay, there's my stream. Now, lost my place. And here, let's see. Yeah, and here's another. I'll just kind of. That's the video I made earlier today, but there's no sense in playing any of that right now. We'll just stick with the same theme. Here's another video I made on that. So I can get it going. Why didn't it play? And maybe that's the one that didn't work. Let's see. I bet you that's the one. I think that is Android. Let me see. Yeah, it's not playing, so that must be the bad video. I guess I didn't delete it. I'll try opening it up. I was talking about the previous video that I made that didn't work. Let's see. Can't remember which player it played enough for me to. Maybe that one will do it. I'm not sure. No, that's not it. I think it was G. Yeah, this is that bad video. Genome player, I think, was the one which I think runs on that player. But looky there, that's what you got. And that was after a day and a night and another half a day, or another half a day, counting like 8 to 10 hours half a day. When I say day, I mean 24 hours. It was over 48 hours for the one that just worked, and that one was 24 or more than 24 hours, I think. I mean, that's kind of neat looking. I guess that's why I didn't delete it yet. You could do some video effects with that. That'll make you go nuts. What I need to do is, I didn't do that. Failed render. I'll put it on the end, I guess. Cool color squares. All right. Failed render, cool color squares. Now I'm not going to keep that. It's too big of a file to keep just for that. But for right now, I might want to get some, like a 10 to 30 second piece of it. I think I can stream it in well, not VLC, but if I can stream and save in one of these other apps that'll play it, like that one I just did, then I can get that cool stuff. Now that one is
hey, you don't hear
the other video.
Okay, we're going to start making another video. This time not about desktop, but about something I bought. I'm watching my file, make sure it looks like I'm getting audio and everything. Okay, so here we go. This is my webcam over in TeamViewer. This is what I got. It's
now see, that's the first one I did with my webcam. See how just fuzzy and grainy it is? And so that's why I say, yeah, my my phone stream is much better. Headset, Bluetooth headset. That sorry, the camera's not too good, but it's no, and you don't. I always forget which way. Enjoy music when you are running, cycling, playing, and so on. Up to 10 hours of battery life, 40 millimeter drivers, and I was reading through everything. Let's see if I can find it. I had a hard time finding it when I was reading it. I always do have a hard time with that stuff. Yeah, hands-free calling for or voice recording. Said that's what it said it would do. And impedance 32 ohm. For comfort, it would be good, except for that they do heat up my ears too and make them itch because they get hot. Free functionality. I was going to see if you chat using. I was going to try to. You can't. You have to. I'll never find it, but on down, somewhere on down, and also up in here, it says, yeah, with audio cable for free. That's what. And then later on, it says what it is. 3.5 millimeter. So there's why I was showing my phone. I don't know. The audio quit. Probably because I was starting and stopping too many times. But may not come back. Sometimes VLC gets out of whack. I was showing my phone in TeamViewer, and anyway, that's the other video I did on it. And I think there's 3 of them. I don't know. The other one may be, well, I didn't have to edit. Those 2 I edited. I didn't edit the other one. So it's on my YouTube page. But anyway, that's my latest going on with trying to edit videos. That's why, if you wonder why I don't edit my darn videos, they're so long. One thing I just can't seem to quit. But once I get going, but the other thing is the editing. It takes so long. I mean, I spent 6 to 8 hours per video editing the darn things, and then it takes and that one that failed. What really torques me off about it is because that was a very warm night, day, morning. I was, I had got my schedule off, so I was sleeping in the morning, in the sun up, daytime morning like now. Went to bed about, say, anywhere from 3 to 6 in the morning, and so on those days. And here I'm trying staying up as long as I can so that I can try and get myself pushed on forward to get back on days. But I was on that NetPro Max at it's a 2.5 or 8 gigahertz gigawatt. I was thinking, am I saying the wrong thing? It's a gigawatt, and 2 gig of RAM, and I don't know what it's either it just was just because it's Celeron and they're really not near as powerful as a Pentium. I've had several of both, if it was that, or if it really was because I was reading and writing to the USB drive at the same time, I don't think so. The error had nothing to do with that. It said, actually the error was wild time code, and it said it on every input file that I had. I saved the error somewhere. I've got it. I don't want to go look it up right now, but just take more time. But and then this time it took I added more editing to it. Audio processing is no small feat, for all by itself, much less that and video processing. So this next one had 2 or 3 audio filters, we'll say. They're not effects, they're and then 2 or 3 audio processes plus all the same edits that I had done. So because I just opened up the file, from Kdenlive, you always save the edit files, and started from there, and just altered it, to what else I wanted to add to it. And yeah, it's all right. I think that's what I need to do to all my phone videos. Is what I was thinking is, could I set up a script? Maybe could I make a script in use Kdenlive, because I can't handwrite scripts. I can copy and paste and make some easy scripts, but make a script in the GUI in Kdenlive, and then run it and use wildcards in it, and run it in the terminal and on a whole directory. Of course, I'd have to put it on the machine and let it run for. I mean, if I did I have about 200 videos that need to be converted to. For one thing, I have about 200 videos that need to be converted to OGG, to WebM or MP4 or something, so that I can upload them to YouTube. And these are all desktop videos, that I made with GTK Record my desktop, and that's the only format it records in. It's a good one, but it's but YouTube won't take that format. And I swear they used to. I keep saying that. But also for the editing of the phone videos, to do nothing. Even if I did nothing but just fix the audio, I thought. But when I seeing the processing time it takes to edit, a couple. That was one. I think it was a 1 hour video. Let's see. I have time is in here. Okay, 1 hour video, 1 hour and 1 minute and 58 seconds, and it took around 48 hours, maybe more. That was 1 hour and 54 minutes, and that one actually only took about 24 hours, but that was only some video edits, no audio processing, and that's on that Pentium 4. Now, this is a machine I'm on right here is a quad core with 4 gig of RAM, and it would definitely do better, but I have compared, and it only seems to be 1 hour or 2 faster for an hour video. Even if it was 4 hours faster, that's not all that much difference. The big difference for me personally is I can't put my machines anywhere but right in here in the room with me where I sleep. I could put them in the garage, but then I'd have to be out there to work because I couldn't. I can't do remote desktop. I could. Actually, I used to do remote desktop out there. I have some old computers out there, and I would check my email and stuff from out there in here. I just leave my machine in here running and check my email and stuff. But I was looking. I thought I was showing the screen a minute ago, and I wasn't. Forgot to switch, but that's okay. But something went wrong, and the router won't connect. But as far as transferring files and stuff, I'm only getting 54 megabits. Wait. Well, that router will do 150. Well, I guess I was getting 50 more megabits. I'm confused. I'm tired. I'm confused. I would take my laptops out there sometimes, and they'll only do 54 megabits. But anyway, what I'd said, the one in the garage, the router in the garage, it's an old ZoneNet, which is near. It's actually newer than some of the other routers I have in here. Like I'm using 3 in here right now. Well, it's not newer, but it's better. It was a better model, but it got damaged by a lightning strike, and so it would still work, but you couldn't get on the internet. But it will do a wireless repeater, and so I would repeat the only one that I'll have to try again, but the only one I remember that I could get it to work with was my Linksys. Oh, that's why it was 50 more megabit, because the Linksys is older than any of them, but it's a good router, but it would only do 54 megabits wireless and 100 on the wired. All of them will do 100 on the wired, except for my newest one. It's a gigabit router, and it'll do like 150 on 2.4 gigahertz wireless, and then 5 gigahertz is like 300. But I don't have one machine that'll hook up to even hook up to the 5 gigahertz. So anyway, I could only have the machine. I could only have my video editing, transcoding machine in the garage during the cooler weather. In the summer, it would overheat and melt down. It would quit working. They'll just lock up because I got 2 computers out there, and they would just I'd just use them to listen to music when I was working in the garage and stuff, doing a project or something, and they would just get hot and just start, and the stream would usually just drop. And the streams, maybe the stream might have been dropping because the router was getting hot, because it gets here in Texas, every day and throughout July, you can have 2 weeks, 3 weeks of 102 to 105 weather, and it's hotter than that up there where that router's sitting up on the shelf in the garage. There's no telling how hot it is. Well, it was that hot because I don't guess it was hotter than that because there wasn't any, no sun on it or anything. But anyway, this is where they need to be. As much as I wish I could, you really need physical access to the machines to do that kind of stuff. Well, like for instance, these machines don't have that's the biggest thing of all is the hard drives aren't big enough, and so I finally bought this 5 terabyte USB hard drive, and I've got it all the machines close enough to that hard drive that I can just plug and unplug in all my most important machines. If I wanted to plug it into my server, I'd have to drag it over another foot or two, but that I can do, but I don't really need to do that much. But all these other machines, I'm constantly plugging it into one or the other of the machines. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines right here that I can just plug and play. It's pretty nice. It's turned out real good. But and that way I can back them up, or if I need these videos into that one of these other machines, like I was just explaining how I was, that's why I decided to do try reading and writing, to and from to the USB drive during that last video edit, because it saved a lot of time and confusion about where are the files, So I'll try it again on the Blue FIC next time, I think, on something not so long. If I could just do like a 10-minute video, which I usually don't fool around with one that short. If it's that short, it's probably not a complete video to me. I mean, you might take 30 minutes or 45 minutes of video and just cut it down to that. If I have actually done that before in years past, but I have a hard time bringing myself to cut out all my wonderful hard work and great explanations and rambling. So, speaking of rambling, I believe I am done showing anything. But yeah, this one is a good one now. This is the failed one. And that minute and an hour and 1 minute and 58 seconds. I don't know what happened with that one. And then this one here, it turned out good. That one's already uploaded to YouTube. There's another one that's I don't know, maybe that was a live OBS Studio live video and I did it straight to YouTube. I can't remember right this minute. But anyway, there is another one. So done with that. These are brand new and they haven't been backed up yet, but I'll do that tomorrow because I'm so tired I'm going to bed. It'll happen automatically on this machine. When this machine boots up, if the hard drive's plugged in, it'll automatically back up about 10 or 20 minutes after I boot it, which is good. And that's where I usually leave it. Lately, I've been taking it off. I put it on it's been on that Blue FSC for 48 hours now, and so nothing's got backed up because it was tied up. That's the only downside to, having to leave it in the machine there. If you don't copy the files off, then it has to stay there. So maybe I won't keep on doing that because as long as if I can copy the files over, do the editing, and then delete once I get them copied over to the hard drive, then I can delete the working files off of the other machines. And that might be the best practice to do, even though it takes a little longer to copy them. But it's not that long to copy, 1 to 3 gigs or whatever, or maybe they're only 800 megabytes or something like this one. But yeah, I'll just go shut that down the normal way. I won't do it remotely. I'm used to doing that because of my AS Rock. I boot it up, log into it, run it, and then shut it down, because I don't even have cables plugged into it. Sometimes I have to get some things done, but let's see. Stream still looks good. Look at there. I thought, I'll do 10, 15 minutes. It's 41 minutes. Okay, so I'm done going on about that. But anyway, I wanted to show that, and I'm going to keep working on getting my videos uploaded that I've already made over the last several years. And well, a lot of them I made in the last few months since I got my cameras back in the summer. I just went crazy making videos. I've really been enjoying it. First, I enjoyed just grabbing the phone and making quick videos, and then I started remembering, desktop videos, and once I figured out how to get this to work as a preamp. I had it under the bed for years, and I kept meaning to get it out and try it, and I hadn't done it. And once I did and got it figured out, I was so happy with that. Now I want to make it, and now even more than that. Now that I've figured out how to get OBS Studio, I can just make them live. I don't have to convert them and upload them to YouTube. When I'm done with them, I have a copy on YouTube and a copy on my hard drive. And so if anything did go wrong in my stream, then I'll have that backup copy on the hard drive that I can. Of course, sometimes back when I first tried it, back in 2015, I was looking at a couple of those videos earlier. I remember having trouble with everything. So I think the application is better. I think it works better. It's more, like the code in it is that makes it stream. I think however they got it working, I think it works better now. But also I learned that one thing that's completely counterintuitive, I kept trying to get as close to 30 frames per second as I could, even by backing off the audio quality or whatever, because the audio and the movement was out of sync. The movement on my screencast videos was out of sync. When I would point at that top video there, the one that's growing right now, you wouldn't see it until 5 seconds later or 1 second later, or it get worse and worse the longer the video got. And what I didn't know is that with desktop videos, it's the opposite. You go with GTK, ended up going down to 5 frames per second, and it's perfect, and it'll go. I don't care how long you go, and this is working too. I've been making, didn't mean to, but I've been making. I just showed you how. Well, those weren't desktop videos, but I've been making. I made a 2-hour video this morning, and when I went back through it, it was all in sync. The only thing that's not completely to my perfect liking is, the loss of frames here and my mouth not being in sync when I talk. But that's not what the kind of videos I'm trying to complete. I'm making, this one's got more of me in it just because I didn't have anything to show on the screen than I've really probably ever done, and since I've been doing this here recently. But look at my little model. I finally got, that's been in the box in the garage for years. It's 32 coupe. That's my dream car. Back when I was younger, I could have got I also like 32 sedan deliveries, and I could have got somewhere around that age sedan delivery for $100. And it was supposed to be a full vehicle. It didn't have a motor, but it was a full vehicle. Back in 1975, and that was super cheap back then. And I didn't get it. Instead, I ran away and got married. Spent all my money on getting married, and never got my sedan delivery. So, yeah, and I ended up divorced too. So, 13 years later, but it's just how life is, isn't it? But yeah, maybe one day I've passed up lots of good chances on things, but things aren't all that important. But maybe one day I'll get a good chance and I'll actually take it. Then it'll probably get tore up. I'll tear it up. I had a 70 SS Chevelle that I paid $800 for in 1976. So yeah, about 76. Had it for quite a few years. I banged it up, tore it up, and broke things. Took the motor out of it, sold the body. Now it would still be worth about $15,000 if I still had it. So there you go. That's what we kids do with stuff. If we did have something good, we'd tear it up. So anyway, it's done, and I will mumble and jumble at you later. All right, bye-bye.